Wandering through the bustling streets of HN City, it is not difficult to notice the tiny houses packed tightly together along both sides of the roads. That is a characteristic of HN, as well as many other major cities in this country. Everyone knows that in crowded city centers, where every inch of land is precious, finding a spacious house at an affordable price is almost impossible. PH's family had 4 members in total. For many years, they had all lived in a cramped 7-square-meter house in ND Ward, DD District. Believe it or not, yes, just 7 square meters. No joke, from above, the house looked no different from a bird's nest. Yet they had lived there for over a decade. The house originally belonged to H's mother. Now H had a husband and children, and with more family members, life there gradually became unbearably inconvenient. Perhaps it was finally time for a change. They could not cling to this place forever. They needed to move into an apartment. Although they would no longer own a ground-level house, an apartment would solve both the space and financial problems. But to buy an apartment, H first had to sell this house. Selling it, however, was far from easy. At first, H thought the tiny size was the reason it would not sell. But over time, she realized the situation was not so simple. There seemed to be something mysterious behind it all. For 2 whole years, H continuously advertised the house in every way possible. She even placed ads in newspapers and hired brokers to help find buyers. The house listing appeared on various real estate channels, and people did come to see it because, despite its small size, some buyers still found it suitable. Some praised it, others criticized it. A few even promised to put down a deposit. Yet strangely, at the last minute, they would disappear or suddenly find reasons to cancel. One day, a customer came to see the house and liked it enough to promise to return the next morning with a deposit. H's family was overjoyed. They imagined finally selling the cramped house and moving into a larger, more comfortable living space where they would not turn around and see only walls surrounding them. That morning, the family woke up early, boiled water, made tea, and waited for the buyer. Suddenly, the phone rang. The woman on the other end spoke hurriedly.
"Sorry, I can't buy your house anymore. My son just got into an accident. I need to take care of him first. Goodbye."
The call abruptly ended. H had no time to process what had happened or even say a word. Once again, the dream of a new home slipped away. Another time, during the sweltering heat of mid-April, another buyer came and seemed very satisfied. They even requested that H's family hand over the house before the April 30th holiday, less than 2 weeks away. Although the family still had nowhere else to move, they were already thrilled that someone wanted to buy the house. "We'll figure out the rest later," H thought happily, agreeing to the early handover. Yet somehow, when it came time to pay the deposit, the buyers suddenly declared they no longer wanted the house. It was truly strange. Time passed. One buyer after another came to see the property, but even as the Lunar New Year approached, the house remained unsold. Some visitors even confidently claimed the house was practically theirs already. Yet when the deposit stage arrived, they vanished without a trace. Sighing in frustration, H wondered how much longer this cycle of hope and disappointment would continue. Or perhaps there was another reason invisible to ordinary eyes. She recalled a freezing winter evening years earlier. While sipping warm water absent-mindedly, she suddenly saw a white shadow dart past her and rush upstairs. Though it moved quickly, she could clearly recognize it as a long-haired girl. But it was not a living person, it was a spirit. H's heart pounded and her legs trembled at the sight, but she knew she was not imagining things. This was not the first time the female spirit had appeared. H's mother had once mentioned seeing the spirit of a young woman inside the house as well. Occasionally, she could even hear the voices of wandering spirits nearby, though she had only seen one with her own eyes that single time. Perhaps, due to some special karmic connection, mother and daughter both possessed this ability. Reflecting on these events, H began to feel that the spirit was the reason the family could never sell the house. Spirits, according to traditional belief, may possess a kind of telepathic awareness and can influence human thoughts to some extent. Perhaps whenever potential buyers came to see the house and initially wanted to purchase it, the female spirit affected their minds or created obstacles that prevented the sale from succeeding. Human life, after all, is often believed to be influenced by unseen realms, even though we cannot perceive them. Then came 2020, and the COVID-19 pandemic spread everywhere. Selling a house was already difficult, but with the economy declining and lockdowns in place, it became even harder. Everyone focused on surviving the pandemic, and even going outside was troublesome, let alone buying property. H's family could only sit inside their tiny house in discouragement. Fortunately, H had some karmic affinity with Buddhism. During this time, she began studying and practicing Buddhist teachings. Every morning, she recited the Great Compassion Mantra 7 times. Though small, it marked the beginning of a new spiritual path. By August 2021, 2 years had passed. Her practice was still new, but she had gained some basic understanding. Near the end of 2020, while browsing Facebook, H happened to read a story from the book, Notes from the Cottage of Careful Observation. It told of a Qing dynasty woman haunted by the vengeful spirit of another woman. She eventually recited Namo Amitabha Buddha 10,000 times and dedicated the merit to the spirit, who was then liberated. Inspired by the power of Buddhist recitation, H decided to follow the same practice. That very evening, she began chanting Amitabha Buddha's name, determined to recite at least 10,000 times and dedicate the merit to the female spirit in her house, wishing for the spirit to be reborn in the Western Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha and, if possible, help her family sell the house. In truth, the number 10,000 was only symbolic in that particular story and might not apply to every case. How much chanting is enough depends on the sincerity, concentration, moral conduct, and spiritual cultivation of the practitioner, as well as the karma and karmic connection involved. Sometimes 10,000 recitations may suffice, other times 30,000, 50,000, or more are needed. Moreover, not only Buddha recitation generates merit. Chanting mantras, reciting sutras, creating Buddhist art, helping people, saving animals, releasing captive creatures, and many other good deeds can also create merit, which may then be dedicated to helping oneself and others reduce suffering. So whenever she had free time, H recited over 300 Buddha name recitations daily. After a little more than a month, she had reached 10,000 recitations. Yet she continued chanting even more to dedicate merit to the spirit. Seeing this, H's mother also diligently recited over 1,000 Buddha name recitations each day. For more than a month, mother and daughter sincerely joined their palms in prayer, hoping everything would improve through the blessings of the Buddhas. After the Lunar New Year, another buyer came to inspect the house. They criticized many aspects of it, and H thought to herself, there's no hope again. Why is changing homes so difficult? Then suddenly, the man said, give me your bank account number. I'll transfer a 20 million dong deposit right now. H wondered in disbelief. I'll pay the rest in 2 days, he continued. A few minutes later, her phone chimed. The money had arrived. H finally breathed a sigh of relief. This time, it was real. Everything happened so quickly that she felt as though she were dreaming. 3 days later, the family packed their belongings and moved out to hand over the house. At that moment, H believed the female spirit had received the merit dedicated to her, reduced her karmic burdens, attained liberation, and no longer obstructed the sale of the house. From the time H began chanting for the spirit until the house was sold, only about 2 months had passed, a stark contrast to the previous 2 years of failure. H felt both joyful about selling the house and relieved that the spirit had perhaps found peace. In the unseen realms, many spirits wander endlessly because of karmic consequences and cannot easily move on. They suffer from hunger, coldness, loneliness, and mental torment, not to mention countless other hardships. Humans also experience suffering, but compared to wandering spirits, our lives are still far more fortunate. If possible, we should open our hearts with compassion and dedicate our good deeds to helping such beings reduce their karmic burdens and reach peaceful realms. There is a saying, when the spirits are at peace, the living prosper. In many cases, perhaps there is truth to it. The Dharma of the Buddha is profound beyond ordinary understanding. The story of PH and many others serves, to believers, as compelling evidence. If anyone still doubts, one might ask, why have so many people across different places and eras practiced the Buddha's teachings and achieved positive results? From ancient times to the modern world, from Asia to the Americas, many such stories continue to be told. Out of boundless compassion, the Buddha appeared in this world to guide suffering beings with the light of truth. The Buddhas offer many paths of practice suited to different people, just as different illnesses require different medicines. Seeing the suffering and confusion of sentient beings, the Buddha taught methods to attain peace and happiness, and ultimately liberation, freedom from the endless cycle of birth and death and the root of all suffering.